So right now we have Cathryn Mora of Change Empire Books with us. How are you doing, Mora? Or Cathryn?
I'm good. I'm good. It's 7:30 in the morning over here.
Nice and early. Well, I'm glad you're with us nice and early and still spending some time. So please share the story of how you got to where you are today with Change Empire Books.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was always an avid reader from the age of about 5 when my sister taught me to read. And through school, I was always a reader and a writer and that sort of thing. And English was my best subject. I was always getting up at 5 in the morning to read before school. So I was definitely always a book lover. And then I ended up writing my own book. And my first book was actually a novel because lots of people had said to me, you should write a book about your life, because I'd done a lot of traveling and crazy different things. So that book actually did really well, but the process of getting there was very long, and I learned a lot about writing schedules, how to write. I learned about the editing process. I learned about pitching agents. I learned about advertising, publicity, like all of those things.
Okay.
And my professional background was actually in marketing and media for 15 years. So I ended up studying coaching, trying to get a coaching business off the ground, and eventually worked with a business coach who looked at my background and said, why don't you help people market their books? We tweaked that a little bit, and I ended up helping people write the first draft of their book. And that was a few years ago now. And since then, it's gone from just me helping people write that first draft, learning what was working, what people wanted, what extra support people wanted. And now I have a team of 15, and we do all the editing, design, publishing, and everything right through to having it for sale and launching it and beyond. So yeah, I've grown a lot over that time.
Yeah. So are there specific genres that you all cover, or what fits for you as far as when it comes to clients?
Yeah, so only nonfiction. Look, I have helped with a few children's books and with a novel, and it's because I believed in those particular projects, but generally just self-help, business sort of related books and memoir, so all under that nonfiction banner.
Okay, so I've had a little bit of knowledge as far as how the literal agencies go and everything, literature. So what is the difference between what you do and then, other agencies? I know sometimes the agency won't help necessarily with the marketing. It's more just getting the book out there. So where is it that you fit in that's different?
So up until now, it's been this process of adding things on, adding things on, adding things on. I think what makes us different to a lot of other kind of book coaches or book places, what has made a difference up till now is really our approach to quality, because there's a lot of people out there who are doing the sort of dictate a book in a weekend approach.
Okay.
I'm the opposite of that. I'm more spend several months writing and then edit 3 times, like you edit and then have other people's feedback and then professional edit 3 times. So we're into the high end quality as much as we can be. And what we're doing now, I guess where we're moving into is I want to turn authors into thought leaders, because I found a gap in the market was that people are getting their books out and then they don't really know what to do with them.
Right.
And even when I was giving people a lot of marketing advice, because I have a marketing background, I think people still struggled with it. I introduced people to publicists and different things, but I think that gap is taking the book and propelling your profile to that expert thought leader kind of status. Okay. So our new program is really all about, yes, you do the book. It's a 12-month program. Yes, you do the book, but then there's all these experts come in and work with them. How do you create a speaking career? How do you leverage the book with funnels and courses? How do you get media and podcast interviews? So yeah, I think where people really grasp the book and go with it.
And it sounds like a great gap to fill, because I know that's what happens. People write a book, they have their sales, like, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah.
now I'm here and I can say I'm an author, but what's next? And it sounds like you're really able to make it have a career afterwards and have other steps to follow.
Exactly. That's what we're going for. So I'm really excited about that, the new program.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. And so I'm curious, like you said, you want to turn people into leaders. And so what does being a conscious business leader mean to you?
I think there's a number of aspects, and people, I think, feel uncomfortable with the idea of being called a thought leader in a way, because they'll say, oh, I'm not a thought leader. I know that's something that I said to my old mentor. I said, that's embarrassing to even say that I think I'm a thought leader, right? I think it's a bit like when you're eccentric. If someone's eccentric, they don't know that they am. So they don't know that they are. So maybe if you're a thought leader, you don't even call yourself one, but other people do. But I think it's, integrity in your service and believing in your own view of a topic being valid and knowing that it can help people, because I think you lead other people when you live by what you're saying and you also believe in what you're saying and how it can help others. And I think that authenticity, it's such an overused word, but authenticity and integrity in just saying what you feel and what you believe and not overthinking how it's going to be perceived all the time. And really you can create being a thought leader, I think, through, you know, following certain processes and getting yourself out there.
Absolutely. And so getting a little deeper into that, what is your advice to anyone who hears this concept of a thought leader? And like you said, is like, I don't consider myself that. That's nothing. Like, what is your advice for people to kind of make that transformation?
I think that if you think about all the people that we all look up to as thought leaders, you know, Simon Sinek, Brene Brown, Gabby Bernstein, there's a lot of people, you know, depending what you're into. I think that, you know, they all started with no book, no profile, no audience or anything. And I think that it takes someone getting a little bit of recognition from a client or something, saying, wow, that really helped. And taking that on board and saying, wow, what I know really can help people. And just building, like everybody started with nothing and no platform. So building from helping one person, helping your one-on-one clients, helping small groups, and just really embracing the fact that you can change the world. Wow. I had a client who has done extremely well with her book. And when she came to me, and she's just written her second book with me actually, and when she came to me for the first one, she said, I've got something to say and it's going to change the damn world.
Yes, and the energy.
Yeah, and she really, and you know, she's someone who believes in the law of attraction and manifestation. And she said, if I believe it to be so, and I really get behind it, it will work. And people are so drawn to her because she says, what you're doing is totally going to work out.
Right.
You know, if you desire it, it's going to happen. And it has really served her well, you know, in just believing in it.
Right. You have to, otherwise it doesn't mean anything anyways. If you believe in it, it shows its, you know, its results later. Like I said, she manifested amazing things, and I'm glad to hear that it has a second book. That's great.
Yeah, and look, she's got a great framework, so it is based on something that really does work.
Right.
But yeah, it's just believing in it and just going out on the limb and saying, this is the life that I desire, and I'm really going to help people.
Yes, and I love that. And so with that thought, with those mindsets, how do you take care of yourself and keep yourself in that high performance with that energy and just continue to serve?
I'll be honest, I'm not the best at that at all times.
I understand.
Because I'm someone who will, if something's on my mind at 2 a.m., I'll just jump up onto my computer and just start working to get it out. But I'm a work in progress. I think I have to remind myself sometimes it doesn't come naturally. I have to remind myself how far I've come, how many people's dreams I've helped, you know, achieve, and how I'm here. Like my higher purpose is to educate, inspire, and change the lives of readers one book at a time. And I really believe the world needs more beautiful books. I feel a bit emotional all of a sudden saying that. I really love books, and I think because books genuinely change lives. Yes. And people write to you years after you've published saying, oh my gosh, that book was amazing, you really helped me. And that really inspires me, and I just want to see more books out there. So I think that always keeps me going when I have moments of doubt that we are really on the road to always doing something wonderful.
Yes, and I think the power of books too, it's like it's forever. It's not like a little episode or something you have to go find. Like you can just have that book forever and continue to learn from it and continue to learn from that person, especially if they continue to put out more books. It's so powerful.
Absolutely. And there's so much you can do with the book as well, but you know, and a little bit of sleep does help with keeping your energy
just a little
up. I'm working on that one.
That's mine too. It's like, I probably should get a little bit more. So
yeah.
So what is your favorite energy practice? And you said, okay, so we could have a little bit more sleep, but something that you do well, what would that be as far as just to keep yourself zen and calm?
Yeah, I do have different meditations and affirmations I listen to. One of my clients actually has a book called F-Bomb Affirmations, which is a lot of science behind why that amplifies your affirmations. I've bought recordings from her that are all like groovy music, and they have all of these affirmations on them. I listen to those. I listen to more Zen affirmations or meditations at times. I do things like walking meditation while I'm walking my dog along the water. But there's a number of different little things that I do. I have another client with something called Resistance, and they have an energy practice where it's sort of something to do with clapping your hands and doing this, like,
Okay.
but it's
Just
in a
whoosh.
particular stance,
Yeah.
you know. It's like, yeah, there's little things that I do, and I think getting out into nature is something that restores me. I don't do
Okay.
as much of it as I could. I'm at my desk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I guess listening to great podcasts and reading great books by people who I really admire, that
Mm-hmm.
always helps me as well.
Absolutely. And so also I'm curious, where did the name come from? Why did you go with Change Empire? What was that choice for?
It's funny because initially this was when I had the coaching business before I specialized in books. And part of it, to be honest, came down to domain name availability. Everything I thought of was taken, because it was at that time just general coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking, what is it that people want? They want to change their lives and they want to build their empire.
Right.
So it sort of was change your life, build your empire, change empire. And
Okay.
then when I focused on books, I changed it to write your book, build your empire. But I just went, oh, well, I'm running with it now.
I think it's great because I think if nothing else, it sparks a little curiosity, like Change Empire. It has to do with books. I want to know more. So I
Yeah.
think it's working in your favor. So of course, I'm curious, what is your vision for the next 3 to 5 years for Change Empire books?
Because our focus is really now on sort of creating thought leaders, I really want to see my authors up on stage, you know, doing their TED Talks and, you know, being in the media, being asked to be on panels and expert opinions, and seeing them impact the lives of the people they can help. So I'm like a proud mum,
Yes.
or a mom, as you guys would say. I'm like a proud mother who I love seeing them out there achieving as well. And I want to do the same as well. So, you know, I'll be the thought leader talking about thought leaders. So yeah, I see a lot of, and I think 3 to 5 years is going to go so quickly
Yes.
that, you know, the new program and then the people implementing everything. So that's already
Mhm.
going to take a couple of years. So I think a few years of growth in that regard would be amazing.
Absolutely. And so you have your website, changeempire.com. Are there any other platforms anywhere else our listeners should go to learn more about you, Cathryn, or just about Change Empire books in general?
Yeah, so I'm Change Empire Book Coaching on Instagram and Facebook. I occasionally go through phases of using Instagram, and our Facebook page we're now working on a lot more, and LinkedIn as well, Cathryn Mora. You're welcome to come join me there.
Wonderful. Well, Cathryn Mora of Change Empire Books. I think you're going to create more change as we go ahead. Thank you so much for your time today and for joining us.
Thanks so much, Gab. See you soon.
See ya.